Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LIBA Business Spotlight. Today we are in studio with Mr. Ambrose Russell, founder and CEO of Inner Hero uh, organization. We decided to bring in Mr. Russell because of the importance his program has on the youth in our community. And we who are business owners, we need to support his initiative. We need young entrepreneurs. We need young Liberians or young immigrants, young men and women to get into business, to understand the business environment, understand what we do, and begin to own their own businesses. And so, Mr. Russell's Inner Hero is a good place to start. We will be hearing from him as to how he started Inner Hero, what is his program all about, and the impact it is having on our community. So, Mr. Russell, welcome to LIBA Diaspora Spotlight. This is where we highlight small and micro businesses. The goal is to bring exposure to businesses so that we can, as a community, have an impact as we are in the diaspora. So, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Mr. George.
Good.
It's an honor to be here.
So, Mr. Russell, tell us, who is Mr. Russell?
In a nutshell, Mr. Russell is a family man, a devoted husband, a father of 7, and a man of unshakable faith who love to help people reach their full potential, even if I don't reach mine, but I can help somebody reach theirs. And hopefully they can come back and help me fulfill mine.
Wow, that's great. You know, you and I have had a few conversations. I like your energy. You've come and we've met and talked about a range of things concerning, and every time you come by, it's about what you want to do, what you do in the community to help kids. Inner heroes, inner hero, right? Tell us about how this came about.
So the inner hero, that was the inner abilities within everybody, so to speak. When we were created by God, God did not create anything bad. And he also never blessed us or blesses us with our blessing proportionally. It's equally given. What puts you ahead of me is how I define it, how you use your 24/7, 365, meaning your 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Mhm.
And growing up at a very young age with my grandparents, because I was given to them very early. My mom had me when she was 15, and she wasn't there. Not that she didn't want it to be there, but she was young. So she had an option. She had the option either to abort the baby and go back to school or decide to give the baby to the grandparents. And she handed me over at, I think, a couple of months old. So I lived with them. They raised me all through. I first saw my biological mom when I was 19, physically. So imagine that. But my grandparents died. Both of my grandparents rather died when the Civil War came in Liberia, and I fled Liberia, and I was fortunate to seek refuge in Ghana. It was in Ghana I discovered my real deep inner hero and my full potential, because I truly found God for myself, got to know him for myself, and got to know the importance of relationship building and negotiation in life. Because I believe those two things, when you can work with them equally, you can find your full potential. You know how to negotiate. You discover your 3 P's that I call your plans, your purpose, and your potential. And you develop that, and you find your full potential. But equally so, I discovered that sometimes you can even find all of those P's. You might not get your potential. You might be able to invest that into somebody, find theirs, and they will come back help you find yours. And I came to America, and fortunately for me, God crossed my path. My beautiful darling wife now at the time with 5 children, and the dad was killed to gun violence. So that was where God told me to start my destiny. And through that, I was obedient, and I started the destiny there. And starting the destiny there led to the inner hero. And that name came from my most important thing I always want to do. I live, die, eat, breathe, which is serve it to humanity. As I was serving in church, God gave me that name, the inner hero. I was like, what does this mean? I left from serving my part. I went and wrote it down. And my wife and myself went home. We prayed about it. And God started to break it down to me that everyone is born with that ability, that something is given to them.
Mm-hmm.
He blesses everybody with something. What makes that something or that gift comes to fruition is you tapping into it consistently,
Mm-hmm.
proactively, and having the ability to be able to be positively obsessed, meaning you eat, sleep, and breathe that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not leaving you, and not just for you, but helping others see and reach their full potential.
Wow. So sorry about your parents and the struggle that you went through, but um, someone of your like you came from Civil War to Ghana, came to the States, and you are working hard to ensure that the struggle that you went through that others don't go through. In our community, the Liberian community or the African immigrant community, we've had a lot of tragedies due to gun violence. Uh, our young kids who could be business owners and entrepreneurs are falling short. Some of our young kids are falling short into crimes and violence and other things. How has your organization helped these young kids? Or what is the process? Let's talk about how you help these young kids transition from where they are to come to a positive end, and what are some of the stories that you can tell us?
So just to give you a couple of the stories, I remember one of the kids we met at the time. He was in 8th grade. So you're talking about maybe just being around 14, 13 in that age
Mhm.
range, and he was friends with my youngest son at the time, which was the first group of my 5 boys, and they went to Armstrong High School. And I remember one day he came and visited the house. And normally I would talk, but I would talk for improvement. I wouldn't just talk because I feel like talking. So I always have a conversation with them. And the way you get into people for the positive means is that you say something, but you don't say something like you're looking at them being lower than you,
Mhm.
but you're looking at them and you on the same level, because every conversation have an exchangement. You
Mhm.
learn and you give.
Mhm.
But it takes humility to understand that you are learning also and be able to express it to the next person. So we're talking at that time. He had 2 guns at that young age on him.
Mhm.
So I got the story later, and I like, what can I do to help you? His dad have just been incarcerated. The mom was not fully involved and what have you. So I took him under the wings. So he came to our house maybe 4 times in a week, and he became one of our sons.
Mhm.
And gradually, I helped him find a job at Burger King. He worked this job. The first pay he got, I told him we'll buy him a bike. We bought him a bike. So he would go to school in the afternoon, comes home, take the bike, go to work by 5, and I will pick him up from work 12:30 in the morning to 1 a.m.
Mhm.
every weekend
Wow.
for 6 months. So in the process, we got him. He didn't have his social security. He did not have a bank account. He did not have a permit. So we got him a bank account, the permit, social security,
Mhm.
and gradually we saved that money for 6 months. We got him a car.
Mhm.
He left the gang. He went finished high school. He had a baby. We got him a full-time job. He and his girlfriend lived together. He got a permanent job with Green Stuff landscaping company.
Mhm.
And his life have just been the best. That's one. Two, this other kid too, another Liberian, but the first one I just explained was African American. This one, he's a permanent and eminent Liberian off of 85th. He got a barber shop there called his name is, the barber shop is called Melania.
Okay.
Okay. So he was friends with our older sons. He came to the house regularly to sleep. So our house always have kids in and out. And in the midst of 11th grade and what have you, I asked him, what do you want to do? You're about to go to 12th grade. What do you want to do when you leave school? He said, Mr. Russell, I want to be a barber. I said, okay, I'll help you go to barbering school. He graduated from high school, went to barbering school, and became a master barber. He have 3 barber shops. He have employed more than 30 different young people around Twin Cities. He's one of the most renowned barbers. He cut celebrity, all the NBA and NFL players' heads. And those are some of the stories. But you have to see it from nothing and just stick with it consistently. Again, I always do it on that word. The word is consistently. If you have consistency, that's how you break change.
So you're watching LIBA Diaspora Business Spotlight. We are in studios with Mr. Russell, CEO and founder of Inner Heroes. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Let's walk together. Over the past 8 years, Joy Foundation, Joy Music Ministry Incorporated has hosted the Walk a Mile for a Child event. A family-friendly space or platform that allows children and their families to come together to connect and celebrate the children. Every year is a bit different, but one thing that remains constant is the kids at the walk are celebrated.
They have fun connecting with others, playing games, and winning prizes. Snacks and drinks are provided for the children. The walk kickoff is on July 1st, 2023, and begins at 8 a.m.
We will be walking around Como Lake in St. Paul, Minnesota. Address, 1360 Lexington Parkway, St. Paul, Minnesota 55103. The walk is also a fundraiser that helps sponsor a child in Africa to go to school. Walk t-shirts are available for purchase. So come join us and stand up for the children and celebrate with them.
The whole family is invited.
Youth, bring your bikes to participate in the Bike Ride Challenge. See you at the walk. Walk a mile for a child.
Walk a mile for a child.
Let your celebration begin with Park Liquor Outlet, your first Liberian-owned liquor store in the city of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. We have everything that you need to set that special occasion or bride. For your next party or great get-together with friends, visit Park Liquor Outlet. We have great selection of beer, wine, gin, and many more at affordable prices. Our customer service will make you always want to come back. We are open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Park Liquor Outlet, your one-stop celebration store. We are located at 6315 Zine Avenue North, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Visit us today and feel the difference.
And welcome back to LIBA Diaspora Spotlight. My name is Jackson George. I'm in studios with Mr. Andrew Russell, CEO and founder of the Inner Heroes. Mr. Russell, you've been in the city of Minnesota, in the state of Minnesota for a long time. You've worked with police departments, sheriff departments. You've been to the prison and worked with young people in prison. You are in the community. I want to come back to the gun violence issue because it's very important in our community. And we who are business owners, sometimes we are threatened or we are afraid that people might walk into our facilities with guns. And so most of our young kids are into gangs. Not most, some of our young kids. I want to correct myself. They are into gangs. They got guns. And there's a right way of owning a gun. But most of them don't own guns the right way. So tell them, why do you think that in the immigrant community we are having all these violence, these tragedies in our community?
Just from the people I've worked with in Minneapolis, the North Metro, Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, and just to name a few, is that most of the kids looking for somewhere to belong. It's all about belonging. And from my understanding, being able to work with a lot of single parents, single moms, so to speak, is that most people have not understood that physical assistance, emotional assistance, and educational assistance. And in most of the homes, they give the physical assistance, they give the educational assistance, but the primary, which is the emotional assistance, is not there. So that emotional assistance simply means if you don't have it, your stability of the physical and the educational assistant cannot work because they're looking for somewhere to belong. A lot of families that I've interacted with don't even have conversation. They don't talk.
I'm not cutting you off. One time we had a conversation, and you told me, and we're talking about communication, and I was saying my son always say that, Dad, you don't listen, and we had that conversation, and so I changed my approach towards my son, and now we've having my little son, we having conversations. We can have a conversation because he always said I was never listening to what he was telling me, and it was because of you that my son and I now are having conversations. So I understand where you're coming from. I just start putting shelter, providing him with what he needs. It was my responsibility, and I was providing, but I was never listening. And I think to some of my kids too, the older ones, they can accuse me of not listening because we're always running behind success,
Yes.
and we're not listening to our kids.
And that's the breach of the family today, because the kids feel forgotten. So what happened to Uncle Johnny, who on the side that's selling the dope, the fentanyl, and what have you? He listened to them. They sell for him at the same time. When it comes back, if they tell him at school or this happened, he talks to them. Good, bad, or indifferent, he do make time. He or she does make time to talk to them. And the parents, it's a simple question. This is how you begin the conversation. What is it I've done today, yesterday, last week, last month that I can become better at? That one question can lead to a whole successful relationship rekindling because you consistently ask that question, meaning that you want to hear. And a lot of times what they tell me as mentors, what gives me the opportunity to come to your kids at times, and you don't have that because I do listen. Mr. Russell, listen, they will call me 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning or whatever. I will pick up the phone. I'm not too busy. And for this dispensation of generation, if you cannot have them vent with all you talking and just be a great listener, you lost them. You will physically see them. You will academically maybe see them. Emotionally, you have lost them. And if you lost your emotion, physically and academically, you're nobody because you move by your emotion.
So what is Inner Hero offering for these kids outside?
So Inner Hero, we have offer and we have offer a consistent mentoring program. And now we just about to start this program called the Inner Hero after school program at the YMCA, where we'll be hosting. Right now we're hosting in Coon Rapids and New Hope. This program is all about getting the kids to be more involved, building a sense of community and belonging. Because our kids killing one another today because they don't have the sense of community. Most time they cross one another when it's like negativity. But if they have this sense of community, because they have gathered that sense from the older people, from the parents. Some parents live next door. They don't even know if the neighbor's sick or they don't speak for months. So if you raising your kids in that environment, it's what they're used to. So people practice what have been taught and what have you. And at some point in time, parents, mentors, guidance have to take responsibility and come to the place and say, I'm at fault with some of this stuff. Even though my kids shot somebody, but start from the beginning. What was your present? You're working all day and you still not rich. But you're making the frustrating part for me as a mentor and community ambassador is that program like this, you will even ask parents who have their kids in the program to volunteer an hour. They're too busy to do it.
Correct.
But you want me to shoulder a full responsibility for your kid biologically that you had. Then you wonder why today or tomorrow you sick, you die, those kids don't have time for you because emotionally you are not present.
So when we talk about this after school program led by Inner Hero for a safe environment for growth and learning, and I did tell you, I say it's amazing that our community is not running after you. We who are parents should be running after you to get our kids into this program, but we are not. Like you say, we are busy working. On the weekends, most of the time, there are so many programs that we find ourselves, and our kids are home most of the time in their rooms. Uh, this is devastating to our community. Most of our kids are in their rooms. The lack of communication, we don't understand them, and so these are the kind of programs that we want to support. We in the business environment, we need to be able to be supporting. Yeah, some of you, we got small businesses, but we need to be able to contribute to some of these programs to be able to help our young men and women grow to be successful citizens of our community. And so I applaud you for the work that you do. You could have found a job working corporate America, make money, you educated man.
Civil engineer.
But you decided to give back to the community to help people help themselves. And it is amazing that most of the time, even when you went to soccer game or sports game, most of the Liberian parents are not there.
Not there.
Somebody else come and pick up our kids and take our kids while we consider we are working. And our kids are, those things hurt those kids because all the other parents are there and we are not there. And I'm saying we because I'm guilty of the same thing too. I'm not accusing other people out there. So what can we do as parents? What would speak to us as parents?
So coming from me as a parent that have raised, my wife and myself have raised 7 kids, still raising the 2 youngest one. Our youngest son is 12 and our daughter, the only one is 15 going on 16. It's present. You can be present but not available.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of parents are
True.
present but they're not available. And they have not understood. It took me a while to learn this as I started mentoring kids in juvenile detention, county home school.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids are incarcerated indirectly, but we have not discovered. And when they burst up into the bigger prison, that's the time the shooting, the meth, the felony, the fentanyl take place because all day you have your child or your daughter that spend the time in the room. If you go to the prison, that's how it is.
Yeah.
So they are in.
So they're used to it.
They are in prison without being in prison, but we
Mhm.
have not discovered. So when the negativity takes place, they just go to the bigger environment.
I can agree with you.
So we need to understand that we have imprisoned them illegally. And when they cause the crime and the harms, they get imprisoned legally.
And they're used to being isolated.
There you go. Because so now parents have to be more involved. The key factor here is communication. Do not ask your kid, what happened to school today? Did you pass your test? How was school? Then they say, okay. What does okay mean? Okay can be anything. Okay, I hit the teacher in the mouth. It's okay. So you have to go beyond just what is okay means.
Yeah.
Okay, okay means that, yes, mom, I took the test. Yes, mom, I passed the test. Yes, mom, today I had a good day at school. Yes, mom, my lunch was nice. That's okay because it's giving me complete description of okay. But we just take okay.
Yeah. I'm guilty.
Okay.
I'm guilty of that too.
So
when my son said okay, I feel his day was good.
And that
might not be.
Even when somebody tell you good, what is good?
Correct.
Go beyond in the explanation of good or the word mean good. Let them explain. So parents have to take that first initiative. Find a day, find a time. Be consistent. It ain't got to be all your days because you make your time to go to Ente Fatu wedding. You make your time to go on the field. You make your time to go.
And they're noticing that.
Everything. And the kids see that. For one, I'm one person. But if I tell you, people, my wife wonder, people ask me, how do you manage with your time? Even Cyrus have asked me before, how do you manage with your time? Because I've made myself available. Anything you practice consistently, it becomes part of you. Positively obsessed with people. I want to see people change. And I believe today or tomorrow, if I'm dead and gone, history will represent me well.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to LIBA Diaspora Spotlight. We have in studio Mr. Ambrose Russell, CEO, founder, and CEO of the Inner Hero. When we come back, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll try to bring some closure to some of the violence in our community. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jackson George. I am the Executive Director of LIBA. I'm here again with Mr. Wallace from Cake Media. Mr. Wallace, you've come a long way, right? We've been with you for a long time. You're one of the people in this industry you keep going. Tell us a little about this team.
So initially we used to be called Africa Media, and that's AFRIQA. But at some point we thought to rebrand because we realized our clientele were diverse. So we changed it to Keg Media. And Keg is the first initial of all my children, Kimberly, Aaliyah, George, and Georgetta. That's what Keg means. Okay. And we started small, but now we've grown. So here at the studio, we do video production, we do musical production. We're a full media company. We do from graphic design to animations, to flyer designs, websites, anything that's related to the media industry. So normally people come to the studio, they rent out the space. We have different creative spaces. That's one set. So each background is a set by itself. Okay. So before I go there, that's a podcast setup, where if you want to do a podcast with lots of people, that's a podcast setup. Then we have set 1, that's creative set 1, creative set 2 with a white background. Set 3 is a white and blue with different types of chairs. Customers can choose the chairs that they want. We have tons of lightings, high-tech cameras, black magic, red cameras. And this is another set for more of entertainment. So if it's an entertainment show, we designed this place to turn into an entertainment section. We can change the sets to anything. And we also have the grass background as well, which we can change. We have different types of backgrounds based on what your show is about. We also have an in-house full-time photo shoot studio where people come to rent and people come to take their photographs. And we have different backgrounds at the back of this as well. Straight up ahead of you is an open stage. Open stage where we can turn to anything. We can turn into a hospital, a mini office, anything mini that you want. So if you want to shoot something inside of your renting spaces. Then we have a dressing room as well.
Oh, in the back. Okay.
So it's called the green room. So it's kind of black. We're still putting things into this. So this is it. Okay. So this is the dressing room. Let me put it on the right. We're still doing the walls. So there's a dressing room. We're putting more mirrors here for people to come and dress. We have wardrobes and everything for them.
I need to get outside the dressing room. Let's stand right here.
Okay. And that is our control room.
The control room. So come this way, and forgive me if I just move this.
Yeah, sure.
Tell me, George.
Yes.
How do you continue to do this? I mean, what motivates you every day?
Well, first is my family.
Okay.
God first, and I have this belief that the only way to get what you want is to go for it and work very hard. Keep focus. You will fall several times. You will wake up. You will rise up. Each time I fall, strengthens me further and stronger to move forward. So that's basically what moves me.
So you are watching LIBA Spotlight, LIBA Diaspora Spotlight, where we highlight businesses. You know, when I tell people that you have to fail many times to win.
Absolutely.
They don't understand.
Yes.
How do you understand that?
It's something, I started working at an early stage. At 12, I was selling peanuts. All right.
Wow.
Despite the fact my dad was a minister. At 17, I was selling car parts in Nigeria. All right. I used to buy car parts from the port in Togo. I bring it to Nigeria and I sell. I buy tapes and things like that. So being strong and knowing how to survive, it's something that's inbound. Right? It has to be there. You have to be determined to make sure that you pursue your dreams.
8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Park Liquor Outlet, your one-stop celebration store. We are located at 6315 Zine Avenue North, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Visit us today and feel the difference.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LIBA Diaspora Spotlight. Again, we are bringing exposure to small and micro businesses, but today we have in studio Mr. Amber Russell. It was important for us as a business owner. It is important for us as business owner to support initiatives that help the growth and development of young immigrants or young people to build businesses, to be inventors and other things. So, Mr. Russell, we as a community, we struggle. We still believe we're in exile. We struggle with our kids, and that's a conversation we can have, all of us. One of the things that I have experienced is the fact that we as Africans, or I say Liberians, we keep everything. We want to keep everything inside and don't tell because of shaming. If my son smokes weed, it's shameful to say that my son smoked weed. I don't want to say in front of people. But I believe if my son smoked weed and I told somebody, maybe somebody has to help right next door. What is your experience with all of these hidden things that we do? We don't want to until something happens. Then even your own brother does not even know. But Jackson, if your son were doing it, you could have told me. And now we got this tragedy in our community just because we didn't communicate with each other.
From my experience and my observation, the first thing is that you have to be willing. They are not willing to change. You are stuck in your ways. And the only way you change, you have to come to the place to know that you need help.
Mm-hmm.
And when people hear help, we always think that either somebody have hit you or something. No, you just need help for your mental state to change, your state of mind to change.
Mm-hmm.
You're in America. You can look at your surrounding. America is not heaven, but America have a different track of growth,
Mm-hmm.
the advanced world, so to speak. And a lot of Africans, to be precise, Liberians, fortunate to be sleeping in America, but mentally living in Liberia.
Mm.
So if you have not changed your mental state of mind,
Mm-hmm.
you're sleeping in America.
Mm-hmm.
You stay over
still
there.
living in Liberia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you hear, because almost every one of them have the same way of thinking, the same way of doing things. And they have forgotten that the kids that they're born here have a different orientation.
Mm-hmm.
The orientation here is openness, and it comes to African people, so to speak, as disrespect.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
When the kids telling them the truth, they come back with rebuttals as you've been rude.
Mm-hmm.
But that kid just telling you, I need you to hear me too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a myth that being a parent, you have 100% right. It's a lie. It's true that you gave birth to me. That doesn't negate the fact that I can't tell you how I feel. It's the way I tell you and my tone of voice that makes it disrespectful. But if I've been rightfully telling you with a nice tone of voice, and if you give me a chance to explain, and you don't shout over me, which of course a lot of African parents are guilty of,
Mm-hmm.
that's relationship building. And once you find relationship building, you find understanding, and you find people working in harmony. And that's what is missing.
But Mr. Russell, back home we were disciplined. We got whipped for things we did. We got punished. I picked pin for my timetable. What is the difference? We Africans, can't we have, if I was just to play the devil advocate, can we have our tradition? Can we have the way we were brought up? Can we teach our children that way? The system here is preventing us from, some people will say the system here is preventing us from disciplining our kids the way we were disciplined. What would you say?
Let me give you a typical example. I was born in Liberia, raised in Ghana, came to America. But what I learned here to come to this country, and I'm telling you, for me, what makes me a successful parent thus far, still have the option to learn a lot of things, but I've raised my family thus far, my wife and myself. My number one strength, I listen. My kids, you know what it means to have 7 children. And when I came to America, I was in my 20s. I never had kid. I walked straight into 5.
Mm.
I had to do something that I taught myself called remove and replace. Being willing to listen, being willing to speak slowly, being willing to work from behind and let them lead at times.
Mm.
Because in America, it's not the age, it's the know-how.
Mm-hmm.
In Africa, it's the age. So when you have that transformation, you got to understand it's shift.
Mm-hmm.
And in the shifting of the paradigm, it's like all the powers don't belongs to you. And that's why African, a lot of them have not changed. The mentality is still the same. I'm calling a shot and that's it. It don't work here in the modern dispensation. The kids want their voices to be heard. If you cannot make the voices heard in the home, they will go to Uncle John on the street. And Uncle John will give them a place that it belongs. And sometimes the training Uncle John getting is to shoot somebody in the head. But they feel that Uncle John letting them to do something. And this is why we need the key word here I'll leave you with here. Parents have to listen more, speak less, learn to know. Relationship is not power struggle. Relationship is consistent, relentless, tireless communication.
So Ambrose, I'm very passionate as well about our community and our young people. I had a meeting once upon a time with some young kids who were rappers and had guns in the musical videos, and the parents came to me. We had a meeting to resolve some of this issue. What wakes you up every day to do the same thing over and over? What motivates you? What gives you the energy? What gives you the direction to want to do this all the time?
One is I have seen the success. I have seen that if I can just reach one, that one will teach one.
You have one too many.
Yeah, so I'm not in the business of multitude. I'm in the business of positive attitude. So if I come to a meeting and I meet 2 people, and those 2 people have a positive attitude, they will take the message to 10,000. So if I can help one, and that's how we started interviewing, that's how we go. Because you can't teach all, but at least if you successfully teach 2 or 3 that have made an impact, they will help 2 or 3 make some impact. And because of that, and just seeing my own kids that they stay consistent, they stay being able to raise 5 black boys of the oldest, finish high school. Every one of them went to 3 of them went to college, 1 went to the Navy. None of them went through the prison prep line. I want to do more of it to help other people's kids. And every time I see people say that I can't do nothing, it bothers me because everybody has something that they can do. But you have to do it as a community. That effort that
take a village,
people,
right?
Yeah. That word village, it means a wholesome, it means a holistic approach. And that takes the home, the schools, and the student. And I do believe what I see mentoring a lot of kids in the home, I mean, in the schools and what have you, the school is very proactive. They're not 100% proactive, but they are doing a part daily. The kids are doing a part to some extent. The homes are vacant. They don't have a spot at the table. I've seen parents go to the school to call them, but the kids, the first thing they do, the last at the administration. Don't even take accountability that, yes, it's true that my child spend more time away from me. And once they leave my presence, the decision that they make, I'm not aware. So you got to take that first responsibility and say, even though Johnny behaves or Mary behaves well in front of me, there's a possibility the peer pressure or something have happened that caused me not paying attention to see, because Johnny always in the room.
So Ambrose, this program, this after school program that you're having for the growth and learning of young people, tell us about this program. What are the expectation participant? What you anticipate that participant going to learn?
So what we're looking to do here, and we have been doing, but over the years we have in the program was birthed out of COVID. We had a long-term idea, but COVID brought it more when everybody was kind of in the house. I think you heard people say, "Oh, I ain't got time to spend with my family." COVID came and gave you a lot of time. Then you ran from your own kids. You said it's too much to be with the kids, too much to be with the wife. So you had the time, but what did you do with the time? We discovered through the partnership with the FBI and the YMCA for 2 years, through our roundtable conversation, that the after-school program is very engaging for the kids that are adult-minded. Because a lot of parents work, so to speak, a lot. But if you have somewhere for your kids to go, at least it's taking away some of the time that they can spend to do negative stuff. So the after-school program will help them to do their homework, do some mentoring, do some exercises, do some health and well check with some mental health people and what have you. So building that wholesome of their lifestyle, and they will feel somewhere that they belong, because the kids looking for somewhere that they belong. And a lot of times in their homes, they don't feel belonging there. They sleep there, but the parents don't make them to feel belong, because the parents only tell and don't include. And that's why the breaking of the family have come in.
Okay. So, in closing, what is the message that you have to young people in our community?
First thing I would say, this program, we're looking for support to run this program. As you all know, a lot of people will say, "Oh, they get grant out there and what have you." Grant is out there, but America has become more politicized and more personalized. That if you don't know Johnny, you don't have connection.
That's who you know, right?
So it's who you know, and we don't know everybody, but we know you, the parents that have your kids that need the support. So if you don't take care of your own, nobody will take care of your own more than you. So you guys out there looking at me, looking at this camera directly, I'm talking to you out there. It is time for us to come together as a niche. As you guys always like to use the word village. The word village is not a cliche, it's an action word. We have to use that proactively. Become part of this. If you can't give the money, make time, because it is unacceptable and it's impartial for you to have your kid and I do everything and you take the glory in the end. Let us work together as a team. It's a common saying that teamwork makes the dream work. So you bring your part, the kids bring their part, we bring our part, and consistently we can develop a better home. Not one day, but over the period of time, we'll build better homes, better state, better community, better country, and hopefully a better world. But it takes your time and your money. I will ask you to go to our website, theinnerhero.com. We got a GoFundMe page. You can go there and donate. We also get our Cash App, is the Cash App sign with the capital T, INNER, capital HERO. And you can donate. You can find us on Cash App. Every $20 that come in consistently will help your kids. We can save 1 or 2 kids from the street. And that's why we believe that if you put your money into this and we work together, we can help save 1 or 2.
And so how can people sign up for the program?
You can go online and sign up for this program. The registration is there. You can register. You can sign a waiver form, because in America.
When you say go online, what's the
innerhero.com. So it's
www.com.
THEINNERHERO.com.
So again, is www.theinnerhero, THEINNERHERO.com. And the phone number to reach is 763-670-7699. That is 763-670-7699. Or you can reach a Russell at theinnerhero.com. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching LIBA Diaspora Spotlight, where we bring exposure to small and micro businesses. Today we have in studio Mr. Ambrose Russell. We thought it very important that we brought him in to talk to you about the youth in our community, the violence that are happening in our community, and we are small business owners, how it affect our community. We will be donating $250 to this campaign. For this campaign, we will, because of this program, we'll open up a different part of where small businesses can donate, and then we can support program of this nature. Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, just so you know, before we leave, we do have our upcoming program at the Brooklyn United Methodist Church here in Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Boulevard. It's on the 27th. It's 2 Saturdays from now. We'll be having a mentorship seminar. We're looking for more mentors and we're looking for mentees. So you guys who out there, we are incorporated the girls part of the mentorship now, because it has been longly said that it's always the boys who need mentorship. The girls too need mentorship. So we're looking for you guys, the great parents, the great mothers and aunties and cousins out there. You can come on the 27th. It's from 12 to 2 o'clock. We'll have some food there. Come on, let's talk. Let's see how best we can work this together to help our kids become more productive citizens. It is your help, my help, his help coming together that bring that collective effort consistently, proactively, that we can help our children leave the streets.
So again, you've been watching LIBA Diaspora Spotlight. My name is Jackson George. LIBA Diaspora is a nonprofit organization that caters to the needs of small and micro businesses. We identify resources in our community, we share best practices, and we leverage our collective potential. Again, we have in studio Mr. Russell. Thank you for coming. We appreciate what all you do in our community, how you help small and micro businesses in terms of helping our young people becoming real productive citizens in our community. We also want to thank KMTV for this partnership, for allowing us to come here and air our desires and our wants and needs, and to bring exposure to small and micro businesses in our community. Again, thanks for watching, and we look forward to another edition. Hey, my name is Jackson George. I am the Executive Director of LIBA. I'm here at LIBA Boutique in Chaplin, Minnesota. If you can see, this is a woman-owned minority business. Beautiful products in here. So if you want to shop for antique or beautiful product, come here and shop. It is very, very beautiful. We stop by. This is on 11350 Aquila Drive North Suite, 905 Chaplin, Minnesota. Beautiful products in here. This place is calm, beautiful. Like all the things that I see in here, I think more people should come and shop. It has some real good products. So if you are in the state of Minnesota, please stop by at 11350 Aquila Drive North Suite, 905 Chaplin, Minnesota. Phone number here is 763-290-6233. That's 763-290-6233. So please stop by and shop again. This is a beautiful store. Thank you.
Let your celebration begin with Park Liquor Outlet, your first Liberian-owned liquor store in the city of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. We have everything that you need to set that special occasion or ride. For your next party or great get-together with friends, visit Park Liquor Outlet. We have great selection of beer, wine, gin, and many more at affordable prices. Our customer service will make you always want to come back. We are open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Park Liquor Outlet, your one-stop celebration store. We are located at 6315 Zine Avenue North, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Visit us today and feel the difference.